Councils currently use brute force methods in developing and implementing their charge point plans. As a result, a lot of time, effort, and money is wasted on drafting plans from scratch and making mistakes that could have been avoided. Each council has strengths in different areas like procurement, public needs analysis, citizen engagement, and supplier relations, and may use unique tools that are not known to other councils. One of the councillors that we spoke to said,
when the need to start putting charges came into being, the government just gave a fund and said, start putting some charges out. Depending on where you are in a council, smaller councils might have asked their highways team to do it. Slightly medium-sized councils might have had their car parks team do it. And then bigger councils like us that actually have an environmental sustainability team actually put together a proper project. It hasn't grown from an organised state. It started off very ad hoc and it was all tied to just funding pots, whereas now it's starting to become something that people are trying to consider strategically.
We also found that councils largely work in isolation, only connecting with neighbouring councils sometimes. Due to this, councillors don't realize the value in sharing practices with others, but those who do have a positive attitude towards sharing. The principal transport planner at another council says,
as councils, we've all got similar issues, slightly different approaches to solving those problems, and having a network where you can sort of ask questions and learn from others, I think is really important, and is an area where we don't really have any kind of leadership in the UK, like everybody's sort of doing things their own way.
Lastly, current resources do not foster new connections between councils to share best practices on EV charge point planning. For example, the LG Inform platform may serve as a database but isn't contextual to EV charging and doesn't promote active connections or interactions between councils. This prevents councils from learning from each other's mistakes and best practices. This was evidenced when a councillor said,
so it's a tricky one, but I think in terms of like networks and partnerships, none really exist in the UK when it comes to electric vehicle infrastructure. Every council really is facing the same issue in terms of how to facilitate the transition to electric vehicles. So any way of kind of making bridges, making connections, I think is going to be very welcome and very valuable.
Thus, as you can see, this is quite a vicious cycle where councils lack resources to connect efficiently with each other, find it difficult to share best practices in a cross-council manner, and end up working in silos. The opportunities here are to facilitate effective communication, foster new connections, and unite councils to deliver EV charging infrastructure more efficiently.